non-fungible idiots, don't you know? Banging our heads to the rhythm of the code. We don't care about dollars or the shiny blade. We're just holding to zero. It's our everything. Round tripping positions, that's how we roll. We won't make a dollar, won't sell a thing. We're the zero holders, our anthem we sing. Zero holders, our anthem we sing. Zero holders, we're the kings of the sea. The non-fungible idiots will live in the dream. We're all on the zero, it's our way to be. In the world of NFTs, we're wild and free.
Yes, sirs. We are back.
Yeah.
Feeling fresh as fuck on this Monday.
Yeah.
You feeling that?
Feeling it.
Henry, I'm glad to see you with the carpet. I don't know why. Like, anytime you're not, it feels like we had a long stretch with no carpet. I don't know if we did.
But we had carpet, I think, on Thursday, right?
We might have, but I think it's that there was enough days off, and then when you came back, there was a few days you were in the front of your store. There was enough there where I feel like I haven't seen the carpet much. It feels right. Like, I think I'm feeling nice and settled today.
Good.
Yeah,
I'm gonna freshen up the studio.
And who doesn't look good in a turtleneck? I mean, who doesn't? You know what I mean?
It's not a turtleneck, bro. It's a zip down.
No, it's a turtleneck. It's a turtleneck, man.
It's not. I
It's a
promise.
turtleneck.
It's not a turtleneck, bro.
In essence, it is.
Hey, what do we think about Nakamigos, by the way? I don't think we've ever chatted about him because, reasons. I don't know. What do you think of Nakamigos?
Well,
Don't
Nakamigos
think
is
about
interesting.
Nakamigos.
That's where I'm at. I don't think about him.
Nakamigos is kind of a very intriguing, a very cloaked in secrecy and rumors and whispers and
Made by people, made by the
Joe's-
Larva Labs guys.
Joe's never heard of them. You might want to show him the collection.
No, I bet he has.
No, I'm joking.
right?
I'm joking.
no.
Yeah,
What are we
no,
talking?
he's heard.
Are we talking about V Friends?
Yeah, be friends.
Oh yeah. Remember
Yeah.
the secrets and mysteries and
They're
like I was saying.
Do you know what's funny? In the phase of Nakamigos where like everyone was like on the nuts of Nakamigos, I didn't like Nakamigos. But like now that has waned, I'm like, like they're still here and people still have them, and I kind of like stuff like that that still just hangs around.
It's like a turtle. It's like a turtleneck. You know what I mean? Like I don't like them, and then like when everyone starts to like them, then I don't like them, and then when someone stops liking them, then I like them again.
And then when you see someone that looks like they're wearing one when they're not, you're like, I definitely like a turtleneck. You know what, Joe? This winter I'm gonna wear a turtleneck. Like
No,
consistently.
I'm sorry.
Bad
I
idea,
apologize.
man.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Consistently. I came in the house because I don't actually wear my top button all day just for the show.
So
You just class it up for the show.
yeah,
can I be serious for 1 second?
Yeah.
Why the fuck do you? I mean, it's a thing, right? Like you do put it all the way up. Why?
Yeah. I mean, truth be told, I like it. Like I like to wear it like that. My wife hates it.
Right. Is there some like weird?
If you look in 2022 NFT NYC, when I spoke at Radio City Music Hall, they took professional photos, and I was wearing my Kong's shirt with the banana, and I got my top button, and my wife was like, "I cannot believe you took like professional photos with your top button." So the other day I walked in the house like forgetting to unbutton it, and she's like, "Please tell me you weren't wearing."
But there's something there, right? Like, can I ask you, like, and I'm only going to put myself in that position. Like, it might be a thing where I'm like, oh, I look fat with my neck or something. Is there something to that effect?
No, I wear it all day. I wear it all day like this. I just like the look, or I like the look. I mean, honestly, even as corny as like everybody might think it is, I like the look of it.
Do you like
It's
to
hard.
be choked during sex?
I was just gonna say I think it's secretly that.
Right. I mean, it was all leading to that, I think.
No, but what sucks is when you like wearing something a certain way, or you like wearing something that you're like, oh, this is comfortable and I like it, and somebody else is like, yeah, that looks like shit.
Well, no,
like,
You gotta not give a fuck.
Yeah.
Like, right.
Well,
And I think you don't.
That I don't, but I then think about it because I'm like, dude, it's weird. I look at it in the mirror and I'm like, damn, man,
Classy.
it looks
It does
good.
look
Hey.
good. It does look good. And you want to know what, Henry? The reason that it looks odd is because not everyone does it. And that is a testament to how you are as a person. Like, you're an individual, you like what you like, and that's fucking cool. So,
But I think still secretly a sex thing. If you pan the camera down, he's got a giant boner right now.
Yeah.
I guarantee fucking to you.
yeah, he's
So-
like, no, it's not about sex. And he's got a rock hard shimmy shonga down there.
Okay, keep this in mind too. I normally wear a choker puka shell necklace, like an old school one that I got from Sal's mom when I was 13.
Yep.
And so like there might be something to like being used to having
Being choked. Right.
Being choked.
Exactly. Like Joe said.
Yeah. Thank
I'll tell you.
It takes a long way to get there, but I'm glad we got there.
We got there.
Am I wrong to think it dresses it up a little bit, or is
It does if you got like the tie that's dangling, or if you got the khakis and you're tucked, or either, you know what I mean? Like, sir, it does. I think it works. The alpha is the collared shirt, unbuttoned, no t-shirt underneath, no t-shirt. That's the alpha. That's the look. That's casual. That's not giving a fuck, but looking sharp.
Bet there's a lot of that happening at the DNC this weekend. The normal
Yes.
people that are just in the local gas station
Fuck.
buying Doritos. Like,
Dude,
normal people do.
I fucking hate Kamala. I
just hate them all.
her.
I hate them all.
I do
But
too.
when
I'm with you.
When I see that shit, I responded to a tweet this morning where I was just like, yeah, this is how normal people shop in a gas station, handing something over the aisle to someone.
Tim, hand me the corn nuts.
Yeah, hand it right over. Did you know that they did 2 shots of that?
Yeah, but I don't buy the way that it's
okay.
being like everything's fucking fake. Everything's fake. It's including them setting that up, but also the way it's being reported on, I think is bullshit too. I'm so fucking tired of all of it. I'm tired of that shit. Dude, I'm tired of the fucking NFT space with the NFTs back shit. And I even do that. I'm playing into it, but I'm so fucking tired of it, man. God damn. Like,
we're just on a highway, dude. We're cruising at 65. There's no reason to go to 85. There's no reason to drop to 30. Just like we stay in our lane and we just like slow and steady. And our NFTs back, if they are for like a week, cool. Because we're gonna go back down and then maybe we go back up. Who knows? But like, yeah, no reason to get excited about anything right now.
well, I'm also annoyed at just like this space, like the NFT shit, but also the Kamala shit, again, us, all that. I'm annoyed that everybody's jumping on this story about Kamala going to appoint Gensler as their Treasury Secretary. I guarantee it's fucking fake news. It's fake.
Yeah.
But that's all we peddle in this space. We
Why do you
fucking
hate-
love it.
You said you hated Kamala.
I hate her.
Why is that?
Because I think she is as fake as you can get. I just hate her. I hate her as a person.
Gotcha.
I do. I hate the Democrats. I hate the Republicans. I hate all of it, dude. I'm like extra annoyed by it today, where normally I don't give a shit. Like,
Why do you bring it up? Why do you give it the power to annoy you so much that the first thing that you say when we get onto the show is that you hate that? Like, if you hate something, it's in you more than it should be.
Exactly. And Joe, that's why normally I can bring it up and laugh it off and poke at it and whatever.
Yeah.
Today I'm extra annoyed by it. Like, I'm just there. I don't know if I feel the energy here in Chicago in the DNC. Like, it's all happening this week, right? I feel it. I on the news is all the protest shit that's going on. Like, I just feel extra annoyed by all of it today.
I don't know what it feels like here today in Buffalo. It feels like fall. It's gonna be like it's gonna be in the 50s tonight. I think the low tonight's 51. I'm like, that's awesome. By the way, I think I would rather see Gensler as Treasury Secretary than I would as chairman of the SEC.
We can't fuck with crypto. Is that correct?
Probably not as easily as he can in the SEC. Keep in mind that a lot of like the Bank Secrecy Act, et cetera, comes out of the Treasury.
Here's what.
But not I say like not as, I don't think as directly, although I'm not an expert on that part.
Yeah. So okay, here's my take on this, and hopefully
he's
we
a
can keep
good
this.
looking guy. Can we just all agree?
Yeah, we'll agree with that. Here's my take. Hopefully we'll keep this short because there is other interesting things that we can talk about today. So the one thing I would say about him is that like it's a bummer that if it is true, which is probably not, and who give like it's too perfect for people to be like talking about this now, but that she isn't, if it is true, she's not aware enough to know that this guy is hated so much in the circle that it would lose the amount of votes for her, that it's not wise to do. Like, get him the fuck out of there. Just appease the people that are, you know, amongst us, and just be done with it. But yeah, other than that, like, you know, we can't.
That's what annoys me though, Joe. I feel like, again, I think it's fake. If it's true, it just speaks more to they are fucking with us.
Yes,
they're fucking with us, and I hate that, and that's all I feel, and I feel so intensely from those people right now.
So you know what I was watching? First of all, I rode my bike today with my son on my back. We got Italian ice. You need to get away from the computer. I know that you're in front of it all day, every day. So maybe it's just like you can't be watching that shit. And I was watching a video of Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I don't know if you know who he is.
I like him.
Yeah, and he was getting interviewed, like his last meal. It's on like Mythical Morning or whatever. Like it's a show about like what you would eat for your last meal. And he said like one of the most guarded, secretive technology in the world is the algorithms for all of these Facebook, Google, to kind of the advertising and the suggestion for your feeds is the most guarded. Like, it's like nuclear codes. Like, it's just the most guarded technology there is in the world right now. It's the highest tech there is right now, the most expensive, all of that stuff. And it is used, you know, he was saying that there should be laws against this. I don't know if I agree with that, but it's used to manipulate people into believing these certain things, and it constantly feeds you to, I assume, elicit a reaction so you can be on one of these sides, and to be constantly fed news that'll piss you off more, to upset you, to hate the people around you, and to be engaged in fucking fake news and all of this stuff. So it's like,
but Joe,
yeah.
Well, you're fucking right. That's why I like the camp, and I can't remember if it's Dorsey. I can't remember who exactly is behind this push, but for you to pick your own algorithm, like plug into the same data set, as far as the same content, but you pick your algorithm, which is part of what like decentralized social media looks like. I don't know if that's part of that, you know, blue platform, or what is it, Blue Sky? I don't know if that's how that works. I don't know if that's a Warpcast thing. I can't remember. I wish I could remember where that comes from. That's the idea, because you're right, Joe. It's done on purpose, and it's to keep people, I think, in the state of mind I'm in right now, again, just annoyed, but it keeps you engaged, doesn't it?
Oh, it certainly does. Like, everything's like, look at those news shows. It was always like Hardball, where you get two like liberals and two, you know, and you fucking basically argue. Like, it doesn't even matter if they believed it. One would take one side, the other would take the other side, because they want to see a fight going on, which maybe we should do that for our show to get listenerships, because that works.
Like the fighting?
Yeah.
Hell
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, we kind of do it already, but like, you know, we're not falsifying it at all. But I guess I just worry that like we're too engaged in that sort of thing to get involved, which honestly, it talks to, you had a guest on over the weekend who, in my mind, that is like your dream come true, which congratulations.
We should get into that in a little bit. Although, like, just to a degree, I did like it a lot. And
I know you did. That's your dream thing, to not only get him on, but to be part of that world.
Well, it's not necessarily okay. Yeah, actually, yes, to a degree, it's to be part of that world, and I'll explain what that world is, and that kind of ties into this conversation of our NFTs back. It does tie into that. Let's get to that in a minute.
Okay.
Man, okay. Kamala for crypto, or crypto. First, it's crypto for Kamala, and I literally am thinking to myself, okay, crypto is for Kamala. They want to be. Is Kamala for crypto? I don't know, man. But the Democrats released their, what is it? Their party policy, right? Like the Republicans did this maybe a couple months ago. Their platform. Republicans released it a couple of months ago. It did mention crypto in there. I don't remember if the only mention was, you know, taking down the Democrats' attack on crypto. I can't remember if that was the only mention or what exactly, but there's no mention of crypto anywhere in here. On the surface, it smells like bullshit. Again, on the surface, because then you think about it in some of the responses I've seen. I like them. It's like the fact that they're not talking about crypto is their pivot. It actually is bullish. Like, they used to talk about it. It was a war on crypto before. Now it's we're not going to attack it. You know, we're going to figure out what to do with it still, but it's not a war on crypto now.
Out of sight, out of mind.
I hope. I don't buy that it is out of mind from them at all. At all. Saw a story. I'm not going to pull it up, but I saw a story. SEC going after Shaq, right? Shit like that. I feel like is still cooking. I don't think they're not going to war with crypto still. I feel like they very much are still, and they just know that that's a losing. That's a losing take. It's not the losing side to be on. That's probably the wrong way to phrase it, but I don't buy it. I just feel fuckery going on.
It's agitating it, I think. I mean, from the business perspective of it, I think that they're litigating before they're willing to come up with a platform that works for everybody. So like, I think during this cycle, I know that like a lot of businesses that worked in the NFT business are hoping that like there's a Trump winning, because it gets rid of a lot of these headaches for these people in their minds. So like, so it kind of forces people that that might not necessarily lean that way to want to lean that way, so they feel safe. You know what I mean? Rather than like voting for the Democratic side, where they think that it could potentially continue on. You know what I mean? Something like that.
Yep. By the way, Biden, I think, speaks tonight at the DNC. Is that correct? I do want to watch it if he is. Like it's kind of like a farewell speech. I do want to see it. Not that I think he's going to talk crypto at all. No mention of it. None. I am going to peek at Polymarket. I'm just kind of curious what kind of stuff's popping up there. I love that platform. But let me see if there's anything else related. In general, I just am not liking the vibes out there. Again, me feeding into it. Speaking of, why don't we peek at crypto? Let me refresh this. But I have no idea how we're looking today. Other than it didn't look good this morning. Everything down, 2-ish%.
I think it's flat.
We're just kind of treading water like we have been, huh?
Yeah.
Bitcoin 59K, ETH 2600. Solana 143. All right.
XRP and BNB constantly go against whatever's happening with the majors. Typically, like the Bitcoins and the ETHs. It's always like, what the fuck? They're up 3% while everything else is down 2%.
I wonder why that is.
I don't know.
It's like it's fun when you notice patterns like that. I mean, maybe it's meaningless, but I don't think it is, right? There's a reason for everything, even if it's manipulated, but there's always a reason for it. Like I noticed that with some NFT collections. What is it? Miladies and Bored Apes almost always trade opposite, right? Again, I don't know why exactly it is, other than they feel like, they speak to a different kind of person, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, that is interesting. Oh, I noticed that too with ETH ETFs and Bitcoin ETFs. Usually those are opposite, so... Yeah, whatever the reason, just something maybe to be aware of. It's got me actually peeking at those 2 NFT collections, by the way. Hey, I want to pull it up real quick. I'm just curious. Are you guys going to watch the DNC at all? Like this week?
I might watch highlights while I'm scrolling through Twitter or something like that,
I mean, dude, look, here it is. It's Milady's up 3%. Remilio up 3.8%. Bored Apes down 3%. Mutants down 5%. Right? Again, they're all not. I mean, almost. I would say 90% of the time they're opposite, and usually there's a good like 5 to 10% swing between the two. So, again, for whatever reason, it's something to trade if you're into that kind of shit, right? So, okay, this I wish was a little cooler of a story. I'll pull it up on screen. I'll play it real quick. Fuck it. It's a minute and a half. I don't want to play the whole thing. But announced today, maybe it was announced before, but trailer launched today. Pokemon, the card game. Pocket, digital, right? Pokemon cards are not NFTs, boys. They're not NFTs. They told us NFTs were going to be everywhere. Not them, but them, right? When we first got into the space and everybody making it so fucking romantic here, right? Really talking up how big this shit'll be. Us too. Me too. Me too. I was one of those people who thought NFTs fucking everywhere. Of course we're going to see Pokemon NFTs. Like, of course. Hey, the co-founder of Pokemon is on, founded Vivi. Like, oh, of course Pokemon NFTs are coming. Where are they? Where's all the shit that we thought was coming? And again, this ties into are NFTs back? Well, where the fuck are NFTs even to begin with? Why are there no NFTs here? Do we even need them for something like this? I'm pretty fucking jaded right now.
You're fucking on fire right now, dude.
Why? Why no NFTs, Joe? Why?
It just hasn't been adopted yet. I mean, there's no NFTs because there's been an active sort of war against that type of thing, just because of the money that was being made. And I think that no one has created technology for there to be a exciting use case where most people jump on the trend. The trend started, and then it just and then it fizzled out, and it's even worse now because people think it's all a bunch of horse shit.
Also, with something as big as Pokemon, I don't think the regulatory framework is concrete enough to want to risk well, what we're talking about in the chat, KYC, AML, operating as a broker dealer, operating a marketplace. So I think, like, why risk it right now when one of your largest customer bases is in a non-friendly environment on the regulatory side?
Yeah, agreed. By the way, that guy's cock is like the first thing you noticed in that ad every time. It's like,
really?
Yeah, right there. Boom.
It's not
dick.
what I noticed.
Boom. Dick.
Where's the dick? Where is it? I noticed the ass.
It's just right there, dude. I mean, it's like, it might be a woman, but
that's what I'm trying to figure that out, actually.
I don't know. It just makes me want to look there, and I don't like it.
Yeah, weird.
Yeah, come on, now you see it.
No, I don't. I'm still looking at the ass.
The ass you're looking at?
Yeah, because it's not there.
Are you thinking that's the back of the pants? That's the front, and that's
no. I'm looking back here. I'm like, where? What?
There is none.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird video.
Not that cool.
But they don't need NFTs. I think it kind of is part that too. Like, right? My best fucking friend in the world, Polly, was talking about NFTs. He's like, they're fucking. You're not buying art. Actually, it ties into the court case last week. You're not buying the artwork, motherfucker. You're buying a receipt, right? It's a receipt. That's what your NFT is. I mean, it's correct.
Like a debate
actually,
in and of itself, right? I mean,
wait, say that again, Henry.
That's a whole other debate, though.
It is, because I think there's value to the receipt. I actually like it.
You're buying a certificate of authenticity to a certain degree for the art that you also like.
Right. Yep.
Nobody's buying your receipt. Like they're not. Yes, they're buying your receipt. They're not.
It is both. It's the COA. It is a receipt. And in theory, it's a whole fucking lot more. That's the beauty of NFTs. That's the promise. But we have not lived up to that at all.
No,
because the space is PvP.
It's turned into everybody's ecosystems are on fire because everybody, like, what you thought people were in it for became very apparent over the past couple years that they're not actually in it for that. Honestly, Cosmos, like, I think to a certain degree, this idea of the art being on chain or off chain, like, I don't think it matters a ton, because I think the reality is, like, you still own that art. Like, you still own the IP, whether it's hosted, on IPFS or not. Like, you still own it. So, like, yes, the fact that the art's inscribed on ordinals is great. Although storage limitations have made that, like, a little bit shitty, right? But in the end, I don't look at it like, oh my gosh, ordinals are so much better because the art's on chain. Because, like, to me, I don't think it really matters that it's on chain. I think what matters is that you provably own it.
Well, are you like, when people are talking about ordinals are on chain, it's basically the same thing as saying, like, cyber brokers or avastars are on chain. You're talking like they're saying that is stored on chain. We're making an argument about, like, the IPFS and the stuff that isn't necessarily stored on chain. That's what we're talking about. Is that right?
Yeah. The ordinals, the actual art is inscribed on chain. The imagery is on chain.
So Paulie saying that they're buying receipts, it would be the same for ordinals or NFTs. That's what the argument is for him on that topic, I guess.
But, like, that idea that you're just buying a receipt, I think it's weird from the standpoint that, like, nobody buys a certificate of authenticity for a Mickey Mantle rookie card without the Mickey Mantle rookie card, right? Like, even if that image is not on chain, like, you're not just buying, oh, I have a certificate of authenticity for nothing. It's, I have a certificate of authenticity for this thing, this image that I own. You can right-click save it. Doesn't mean you own it. Isn't that what this is kind of all?
Yeah. And it's a non-fungible token. You're purchasing the non-fungible token aspect of it that is stored online, and whatever is encompassed in that token is what the ownership would be on a ledger for the rest of time, I guess. You know what I mean? So, and you're also coming from, like, from Paulie's perspective, he's making an argument because he has to absolutely make that argument legally in order for him to not be, coming out on the wrong end of that appeals case. So his judgment is colored by
What he's
Yeah.
done.
what he's
no.
done and the idea of losing.
Yeah, okay, maybe. And the flip side is he's thought that for a while, and it's why they put out the collection as a statement, right? That you're buying this thing not for the art, you're buying it for the record, or to make you look at the record and be able to see that you can distinguish the two by looking at that receipt. So I don't think he's doing it like retroactively. I don't think he's changed his opinion. I don't think you were saying that quite either. But if anything, I think he's being consistent.
Well, a couple things. First, do we just even like Henry? Did you listen? Did you know that Paulie and Hudah had a show together? And
Yeah.
did you listen?
In order, yes and no.
Okay.
I didn't listen, but mostly because I spent the week announcing a figure skating competition. So I saw the chats.
Nice.
I talked to Hudah earlier today. Like I think it's great. Like I think it's great. I'm not a fan of Paulie, but also he could be somebody that if I sat down and talked with him, that I'd be like, oh yeah, like he's not bad. I didn't like his victory lap the other day. I thought that was a little bit weird, but like that's fine. There's tons of stuff about me people dislike. So
well, first of all, I wanted to say a couple things. A, good job, Hudah. I thought you did a good job. B, I thought it was very topical. I thought that if you're going to have a guest, I thought that was probably a good guest to have. Seemed topical, seemed interesting, and I thought there was some good discussion. I mean, I have my critiques of it, but I don't want to get too negative because of, you know what I mean? Because I don't even know if it matters, you know what I mean? And there's not that much negative. Like, I don't want you to think that I have any, I don't know, that I'm not proud of you, I guess, or that I'm not like.
I'm not worried. It's not even a thing for me to be proud of. I like the guy. It was a conversation. Like, it wasn't even planned. It was, it just kind of came together 30 minutes before my normal stream, which, Saturday, Sunday's just casual. Get online, shoot the shit with everybody.
Yeah.
And he happened to message, and it just made sense. It was cool. Definitely want to do it again. Again, you know what? Going back to.
Can I give you my?
Oh, I'm sorry, dude. Yeah.
A couple of things that kind of rang like, maybe I would have approached it differently. Is that like you seem to be on Team Paulie a little bit much, but here's the thing. Compared to what I think is fair and balanced, like you're not saying that you're being fair. Like we're not a fucking news program being fair and balanced or anything like that. I think that like it's just weird for me to hear like you being like you're a real one and all that sort of stuff. Where I was like, don't know about that, but that might be your opinion, right? Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that opinion. So there was that. Part of me wanted to immediately say you need to try to book Yuga Labs on the next show.
Oh, I love it. Yeah.
To kind of get a nice ringing conversation going with both sides. Because I think that's where the interesting thing lies. Like anyone can just be like Team Paulie, but I think like as a show, what's kind of cool about all of us is that we kind of have different opinions and then we're open to kind of expressing and exploring them. And so the Yuga thing would be an interesting way to kind of go in both directions that I think would be interesting. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of what my thoughts were on that was, and it was weird to hear him talk. Like, he was like, he was a little bit like waxing your ass a little bit. Like, oh, you're going to get big now. You're going to get a lot of hate, but you're going to get really big. Congratulations. There's a little bit of like how I felt watching Andrew Tate kind of pulling in
with Thread Guy
and kind of like wrapping his fucking tentacles around him and being like, now you will be one of us sort of thing. But I guess my question for you would be like, how did the show, because I saw you tweet something about getting some negativity. He said you were going to get a shit ton of negativity. Did you? And then what has changed as far as like, has anything changed for you now that you've had that discussion with him?
Man, I got so many things to say. Man, where to start? I'll start with that right there. First part of that was, did I get the negativity that he said? Also, him saying what he said was a part of what I think is Paulie being real. Like he just said what is a fact. What he knew was going to come, what I knew was going to come from having him on the thing, have him on the stream, is it would get a lot of eyeballs. It wouldn't all be positive. There's a lot of people who don't like him. And I thought that was super actually cool. So first off, some light negativity, like people who, man, really don't like the guy, right? Like really, really don't like the guy. Some who told me, man, I don't like him to the degree that I'll never listen to him talk, but I listened to you, so I listened to Pauly for the first time ever. Like, he's a reasonable dude. I actually liked him. That shocked me that there were some of those. It wasn't just one person, by the way. It was a few of that. So I like that. Definitely some negativity, but it's mostly that stuff, right? It's just people who are like,
Speaking to that, Hudah, sorry to interrupt, but
no, you're good.
Speaking to that, I did think, oh God, so I don't like Pauly. I don't like him even after that, but I did think that, like, even saying like, oh, I love the question, is Pauly a character, right? Which he said, yes, it was. I mean, like, sure, I would argue like, yeah, well, he's kind of a piece of shit, you know what I mean? And that is part of you. And even going that direction is an interesting choice, whatever. But I thought that was interesting. And I thought it was a good conversation to have. And my own biases would be like, yeah, this is why he's speaking in this way. But I did think that was interesting, a good question and thought-provoking, and a good job by you to navigate that.
Thank you. Yeah, appreciate that. Honestly, I wish I did tell him this ahead of time. I'm like, because he said, I don't need to prep, right? He told me, I don't need to prep. Let's just do it.
Yeah.
I'm like, and I replied to him, I'm like, dude, if you're telling the truth, you don't need to prep. That's what I like, right? I like it. Again, I felt like everything was genuine, including that I thought he was actually a sweet guy. Like, that sounds funny to say about Pauly, but in the same way, you're genuine here, and when we talk behind the scenes, just as genuine, nothing changes, and I would say you're a really sweet soul. Like, you're a really, really nice guy. Believe it or not, I got that vibe from Pauly too. I really did. He was respectful. He was. And so the things he was saying that were, kind to me, he had said ahead of time. I don't feel like he was trying to like butter me up or kind of rope me in. I just felt like I got Jeremy on that podcast. I didn't get Pauly. So his real name's Jeremy. He was at Khan. I feel like I got that version. I like that version. I do like Pauly. I like the edge, right? I do like that. I like the poking at people. I do like that. Maybe it goes a little far I enjoy that stuff to a degree. It's not my style. I can't pull it off. But yeah, I found him to be just a really, really nice dude. Aside from the Pauly part. So I like that part. Again, negativity, yeah, there was some. I did get a crazy person, which I've gotten that here and there, like little bits of crazy. And
What's
I think
crazy mean? What is
crazy? Like somebody probably with some like dealing with mental issues, like mental illness, like a full on like lunatic type DM. Somebody telling me to like stay in my lane and borderline threatening, but it comes from a person who is threatened in the past too. So this wasn't the first time I heard from this person. It was a different account. I'm assuming it is the same account from the same person who had threatened, months ago. And
is this the guy that reached out to like, I don't know. I think I got reached out by someone.
Yes, I think it was that person. Yes, I think it was that person because they referenced another show, and it's a very specific show. It is somebody who threatened them too.
That's right.
I think it was that person. It was just a little more aggressive. I think they thought, I don't know. I think fucking crazy, probably on drugs or drunk or something. But referencing the other show told me exactly who it was, even though it was a different account. So I'm like, whatever. I kind of laughed at it. At the same time, it did make me think, okay, one day I want to be big, not for the sake of being popular in this space, but for the sake of, I like doing these shows. They're fucking fun to me. I would like to do bigger shows because I enjoy it. I like talking to people. I want to just have a bigger reach because I want to get bigger people. Dude, I mean, when it boils down to it, I love this fucking space. I want to talk to the people who are helping build this space out. So it kind of stems from that. What was the point there? That comes with the territory, first of all. But it also got me thinking, man, do I wish I stayed anonymous to some degree and not deal with a crazy like that? Because there is another level of crazy, too, where it gets scary crazy. And that comes at some point, too.
There is scary crazy out there. We've talked behind the scenes. There's, there's like death threat, scary, crazy with crazy people. When you're dealing with money and, mental illness, there's crazy stuff that happens. So I'm with you. If I could do it again, I wouldn't dox. If I could do it again, but the thing is, if I could do it again, I wouldn't be, I don't want to say who I am in Web3, but I wouldn't have any teeny tiny smallest little piece of some Web3 pie platform if I was Coco, right? Because like I just wouldn't. So it sucks because coming out of your shell is what can help, elevate you, if you will. But it comes with, yeah, it can be scary is maybe not the right word. I don't give a fuck. I
It's
carry a
hard for
gun.
you, Henry. You're such a personable guy. It would be really hard for you to stay anonymous.
It'd
All
be
of us, man.
weird.
Yeah.
I couldn't stay. I'd have a really hard time being as diligent as so many people are to be anon.
Yeah, I would. Speaking to Paulie, by the way, did a good job. I still don't like the guy, but I don't know enough about him to truly lay down a valid case of why you should hate the guy or why I hate the guy. I think he said some really incendiary sort of things which is like a line for me. Like I have lines. If you cross the line, don't act like it's part of some bullshit. That's just the type of person. There's a type of person that's willing to go past that. And I don't associate myself with those people for whatever reason, regardless if you want to make an excuse or some reason like, oh, it's a fucking character or something like that. It's you doing something to try to become more popular. And that's a selfish act that I just I'm not going to sell my soul in that way. And he's probably scammed some people out of like money situations where people can actually get fucking pissed. So
I don't know if that part's true. I mean, I only say that because people do say that very casually about Polly Scammer, and I've never seen it.
Well, he's if nothing else, asked people to send money, named certain things to that you could say he shilled. That regardless of if we're doing your own research and whatever, like all I'm saying is we're talking about crazy. I could see someone losing their shit because money was involved.
Absolutely.
Regardless.
But you got to point out too, when he did the send your money to you get fucking nothing or something like that, right?
Yeah.
That was a send your money thing. I hope I'm remembering this correctly. Anybody who did that actually got something in return, right? They were airdrop something. Again, this is the poly stuff where I think if we don't know the full picture, it can come across something. I think for the most part, it's similar to how I think about Beanie. Yes, shill stuff that he's probably in. Yes, he's probably making money. Also, I feel like the things he talks about are really good opportunities at the same time if you're smart about it. If you play it right, I feel like they're trying to direct some of this energy to be beneficial to people who are paying attention, like reward your audience. I feel like, again, I've never crunched the numbers. I'm not going to go through the blockchain and figure it out, but I think that's what he is about. At the same time, everything you said, he's right on the edge. He's very provocative.
No, he's over the edge for me.
He's over the edge many, many times, right? But again, if it's a shtick, if it's a character, which I think it is, I watch plenty of movies, plenty of other entertaining fake things that do exactly that, use the same words. And it's a little harder when it's a real person and it's a little more personal. It doesn't bother me. I'll never say those things, right? Because it's a training thing. I was telling Henry that, earlier, I don't say those things because it's training myself to not even have them in my head. If somebody says them, yeah, it's not my cup of tea. But, again, that's something I had to think about with Polly and having him on there. That history, those words. I'm like, that's him. It's not me. It's not this show. It'll never be this show. I think
you're the right kind of guy that can be in a conversation with somebody like that and not compromise your own ideals.
I don't know about that, to be honest. No? Just because I would listen to it if I were you, Henry. Like, not to disrespect Hudah at all, but because it's really fucking hard. Like, if someone's complimenting you or whatever, it's hard to just be like, not being gracious about it. But
you, if somebody's complimenting you, you can be gracious. That being said, it needs to come with a mix of challenging ideology, etc. I guess my point is I haven't heard it, but I don't think that you're somebody who just is like
he wasn't overly. He definitely wasn't. Hudah wasn't overly anything. He was pretty straight down the line, which I would say, which was really good. I would say that there was a little bit of like, oh, of course I'd have you on. You're a real one. You speak the truth sort of thing, where I think that Hudah, like you said here, Hudah, you don't know enough about it to say you speak the truth, right? We're not sure he speaks the truth.
Well, what I do have is probably almost 3 years of watching him in this space. Maybe it's like 2.5, but of watching him and watching his deeds, again, knowing when he's crossed that line, that's my line. It's not his. And I get why it's a line for people.
Yeah.
but watching the actions and still not feeling like he's a net negative for the space, aside from that shit, that is.
Is
but
he?
thinking,
Sorry.
no, you're good.
Like, Joe, I'll ask you first. Like, to you, is Paulie a piece of shit?
Yeah. I think he is. I think he's probably a person that, and it's very hard to meet nice, good people in the space a lot of times. He's probably a flawed person who's made a lot of choices that are probably not the greatest choices. He's finding himself down in a $9 million lawsuit. He's, accused people of like racist art and, stuff like that. Like he's said words that I think are attacking minorities, LGBT, trans, all sorts of stuff that I just think is like, I'm not with. He can say that it's, how old is he?
Yeah. Is he like 35?
He's got to be mid-30s. That's what I'm guessing.
It's a serious character flaw to be that age and use racial words. I'm with you, Hudah. Like, I realize they're words. You can say whatever you want, but those particular words, like the N word, you say them. And if you say them as like a functioning adult,
right,
you're doing nothing more than being provocative.
Well, not only that, Henry, not only that, he has a following, right? He has a very big following, hundreds of thousands of people. And so I don't know if there's a responsibility or anything like that. It's my responsibility to say what I'm willing to tolerate and what I'm not willing to tolerate. I think, in my opinion, like I'm an adult. I can handle someone saying shit. I don't have to watch him. I don't have to follow him. I don't have to do any of that sort of stuff. But do I agree with it? No. Is he my cup of tea? No. But I think that I can have a conversation with someone like that, because when you turn those things off, that's not the way to get to a place where you grow as a person. Like, you want to be exposed to other people to change them or to be exposed to different things. So, yeah, like I'm not upset by Hudah having him on or anything like that. And it was interesting. And I thought it was a good look for him, Hudah. You made him look pretty good, and he did a good job doing that himself. But yeah, like I think that he's probably not a good person. He's probably done some shitty things, and he's polishing up pretty well. He deserves to be able to speak on it. It's just, for me, I'm not going to attack the dude, but like, I'm not going to make it a secret that I'm not a fan of his.
Fair. Yeah. You said earlier that you think like part of me likes that or likes there was something there. I can't remember the exact wording.
Well, I don't know if this is what you're saying, but you've made it known that you almost vicariously want to be a Beanie, want to be a Paulie, want to be those sorts of people. Yep. So getting that close to the sun a little bit, I could see how that would be very appealing to you.
And it sounds crazy. It sounds like the fucking cringiest thing you could possibly say,
sure,
but I'll explain it.
Sure.
In maybe not perfectly, but
yeah.
Okay. I get to, rub elbows with really fucking cool people in this space. I know plenty of them. You guys do too. It's part of why we do this show. And then especially Inside NFTs, and I call it Inside NFTs because it's trying to bring people a perspective of what it's like inside, not just as a collector trader, but also somebody who works in the space, again, knows these guys, talks to them, maybe understands some of the inner workings, maybe just like a little layer deeper. I struggle sometimes talking to those people or getting them on a show because, man, it feels like a small degree of fake, a small degree like a performance, trying to be professional, all that shit. It's really not me. It's not. Even this version of me is not the version of me I really want to put out there. It is closer to the Paulie version. It is that. I have that in me. It's a thing I kind of don't let out here. But also, I'll say this. Talking to those other people, I usually get pretty nervous for that shit. Paulie, no. Like, there was something different with Paulie where I actually felt like I could be more myself and maybe get to the point where I bring that character out. Good or bad, I don't know. But I liked interacting with that guy the way we interacted there because it felt more real. It felt more natural. So that part I really, really did like. So about, you saying that there's something about it I was excited for, enjoyed, it was that probably most of all. Just, a little more real conversation. So it's very similar to this,
Were you disappointed that it wasn't more grimy and controversial?
Yeah.
Because it was kind of a nice combo.
It was getting to meet him for the first time. Like, again, I've enjoyed him for a couple of years now. It was definitely like kind of excited to be there, happy kind of spend some time with me. Like, I thought that was really cool. And actually really to pick his brain. I wish, yeah, it was a little different. As in, I said I didn't, I liked we didn't have to prep because it's all truthful, honest shit. That said, I wish I had prepped because, man, I'd like to get deeper. I would like to share more and have him share more, and again, take it down maybe an interesting path. And I think and I hope we'll get the opportunity to do it again. And I mean this. Thinking about Inside NFTs, again, my personal show, again, it was always to give that insider perspective, to talk about not your shit, not your project, everything else going on, and give everybody this other flavor around it. Let's talk about what this stuff really is. Like when I said earlier, we've romanticized everything about NFTs. It's talking like that about this space. Like, let's really expose it, the good, the bad, exactly what this space is. You might be the perfect person for that.
A couple things. Do you think that, because one thing we have to be careful about is that he said that he wanted to be on the show because he watched a little bit and you seemed like a fair and balanced person. That's kind of what he was saying a little bit in the beginning.
Right.
He kind of, not insulting, but there was a little bit of like a backhand, like, oh, this is a pretty small thing that you're doing. We're not.
Definitely. He mentioned he could be on these other massive platforms. He's right. He should be.
Then why isn't he? You know what I'm saying? Like that, there's no need for that type of shit. Like it's kind of like Tate, like he's a millionaire and then he's on Thread guy. Like there's a reason there, right? Like he is banned and all that sort of stuff. So like whatever.
They won't have him. You're absolutely right there. There's definitely, man, wanting to talk and not getting the platforms for it. I don't feel like he was blowing smoke. He's doing what I would do. If I had a massive account, I would go on small accounts. Because
Sure.
Why not? I would love that. I would love to do that for smaller accounts. And I'm very realistic about what my shit is. It's very fucking little, borderline meaningless, and I love every second of it. I do it the way I do it, too, by the way, the 7 days a week, just to show people if there's nobody watching or one person, it's still going to happen. It just gives people a little faith that they can spend their time and know it's not going to go away. But I didn't mind him saying any of that because, again, I just felt
I didn't mind it
needed
either.
to be real.
There was well, that was the thing. When you say he's being real, there was a part of me that didn't necessarily believe that. Like he didn't. We don't prepare all that much for this show. We come on and we fucking talk about anything all the time. Like there did seem to be a little bit of like he had some agenda going on that he couldn't quite keep track of all the time. So I don't know, whatever. That's
the forgetfulness kind of stuff.
A little bit. Like
I thought that was interesting because he did that again today on Spaces. Man, I think his brain, like he's got ADHD. So do I. I get the brain going mile a minute shit. I noticed that too. It was first thing in the morning, was just getting in his first caffeine of the day. Like, yeah, I didn't know what to make of that. I don't know if it mattered, but I did notice that too.
It doesn't. But I was just saying that, like, one thing I would say is that, like, Hudah, you can accomplish both things. You can be a fan of Paulie and explore whatever you're going to explore. But, like, I think that, and maybe it's none of my business, but, like, I do feel like we're connected to a certain degree, and that, like, Yuga Labs would, like, in my mind, Paulie's the beginning of the story. Yuga Labs would be a really great get to kind of explore the topic more.
That's a great fucking point. I would love that. They would never.
Why not?
And I get why.
We should try to reach out. I think that we should try to just be like, hey, I had a conversation with Paulie. I'd love to get you guys on as well, just to kind of see what your opinion is on it. I can kind of give you a breakdown of what what we were saying, and if you agree or disagree, whatever. I also wonder what show he saw of yours when you were wearing a Yuga Labs.
Oh, I know exactly which one.
Was it our show or was it a different show?
No, it was Chain Reactor. So the morning show on Friday where I played that entire 48 minutes. And I'll say this, man, nobody else played it. Nobody's talking about it. None of the shows, none of the multiple daily spaces played it when that is the most important thing going on. I think it's the most important thing this year. I think it's a very, very significant thing for NFTs. But it absolutely, if I'm wrong, it was the most significant thing last week. Nobody talking about it. Everybody's too worried about their bags or whatever else. I don't know. They're worried about Paulie. I don't know what has people so freaked out to not cover the biggest fucking thing happening in the space.
I wonder what he would have done if he saw us talking together about him. To be like, because I do think that we give him a fair shake. We're not sucking his dick, not all of us. And I think we're pretty realistic, but we don't fucking shut him out and just say like, fuck that guy. We hate him, blah, blah, blah. We're not going to like listen to the guy, period. But Yeah, I mean, it was an interesting conversation,
Yeah.
and I thought it was a good job by you.
Yeah. Well, appreciate it. And appreciate all takes again. Anybody who didn't like it, anybody who did, anybody who had their mind changed. I would like to have them on again. And again, maybe a little more planning. But I like the dude's take, and I appreciated the fucker's time. Like,
one last thing I wanted to say about Paulie and about other people, kind of like the people that sort of get caught up and in trouble a little bit, they always have this grand conspiracy sort of vibe to them, like this whole fucking space, man.
Love it.
Like we, the community, can build a fucking platform with $0 and zero team and take down Coinbase and da 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 da. There, and like, but he never really got to a place where like what the whole point of him talk. But he's like on this sort of like Tucker Carlson, like there's a conspiracy here, y'all.
He's right.
What's the conspiracy?
So okay, so let's think through this. It was building a pretty major DEX, right? Pond 0x.
Mm-hmm.
Blocked, banned, shut down everywhere. By his own doing, mind you. Like, right? I think I heard. I didn't know why he was banned. First of all, I didn't. I believe I've learned now he was banned because he shared somebody's phone number. I mean, that's a no-no. You can't. I guess you can't do that. I mean, it makes enough sense, I guess. But
sure.
A guy who's building like that, like I said at the end of that podcast, one of the most important people in crypto, and that might sound fucking ridiculous. And to some people, it did. People who even tweeted it. I know that's ridiculous to a lot of people. I stand by it. Days removed and thinking about it, I stand by it. Right? A guy who is going after, like, good or bad, I still don't even know with the Yuga Labs stuff. I don't know what to think of some of that stuff still. Just keeping an open mind. A guy who's going after Yuga Labs and Yuga Labs in return going after him, right? It's a big fucking deal, and it is very important to the space. Again, the repercussions of
he brought that on himself, dude. I mean,
yeah, and I think he invited it. I don't think he's yeah. Again, the DEX. That's pretty impressive to build a DEX like Pond 0x. I can't remember the numbers.
What's the conspiracy? That the entire
that nobody will talk about it. A platform Pond 0x I've seen reported on nowhere. CoinDesk, Coin Market Telegram, none of those major like Decrypt, and
Right.
yet it is fucking massive. It's doing huge numbers, and nobody will talk about it.
Well, he's also banned from Twitter, right? Like,
right.
You have to be a pretty fucked up individual. Like, I don't know why.
We cover SBF. That's a pretty fucked up individual, and we'll report on him.
All I'm saying is that, like, it's not shocking to me. Like, I don't hear ads about lots of fucking DEXs, and it wouldn't be shocking to me if the guy that called some trans whatever fucking infuriating, like, just fire breathing things that people aren't going to advertise it. You know what I mean? Like, it's not shocking to me that someone drops N-bombs and like, and I'm sorry, I don't know what he said.
No, you're right.
Someone that is like that is not getting advertised by major fucking crypto people. Like, maybe it's because he's a fucking maniac that fucking invites this sort of shit on him. You know what I mean? Like, it's not
everything makes sense. All sides of it make sense. I think he's right. I think they're probably right for doing what they're doing, the way they treat him and his platforms. It's like everything is right. In many ways, it's just, this is how I live. It's not picking sides. I'm just kind of there observing it all and watching it all play out. And there's a great opportunity here, and it's something that's been happening. Henry, I'm sorry, this has got to be so boring for you. I don't care. Like, I'm just mentioning, I'm sorry, you haven't had a chance to get in anywhere.
I don't care.
But the opportunity is here still. If it's a problem, like Paulie, I don't know, he wasn't even saying it's a problem. He's just stating something that was obvious. But build decentralized social media platforms. There's so many opportunities here. If those things are really problems, and you really can change crypto with your platforms, with a click of a button, you don't need those massive teams. Do it. Do it. Yeah. Let's see it, and then build out the platform to be able to promote yourself and grow. And I don't know if he's the one to do it. I wouldn't doubt that he is, but I do believe this space enables that kind of thing, for that to happen. And I think that's why this space is so beautiful, so powerful, so world-changing, all that stuff. So
yeah,
all those things.
Whatever. I mean, that's fine. I just, I think that it's good to get both sides here. And quite frankly, you're probably not even really getting the best of both sides from me and your perspective. So I would, hesitate to say that, like, I typically like to explore fully a subject if I'm going to, like, start jumping into it. But yeah, I think the good news is that, like, we can talk about it and we can give both sides, and you might agree on that, and I might agree on the other. And I think it fits. But I
hope people appreciate that. It's all fair game. We're talking about what's relevant here in the space, and we're not going to shy away from that stuff. And hopefully you find it all fair.
Yeah, Henry, what are you thinking after hearing all of this?
I'm working on Kong's fantasy football, so it's
Beautiful.
Excellent.
it's
Excellent.
no, I think it's a net positive for Huda in the end. I think it's a net positive. Paulie's got a platform. My gut reaction is like I don't like the guy, but everything aside, like the ape stuff aside, I think he's I think his racial slurs are not really something like I say like I don't think I'd want to be associated with it, but that's coming from a very different place. As like a content provider like Huda is, I think it's there was comments in the chat. I think it's totally cool to have conversations with people that have opposing views. So I think it's I think it's a net positive.
Yeah, it is a net positive, not only for Huda, but for us on some level. And I wouldn't be the weird thing is that like with that interjected, like obviously I had my own little fantasies of like things that could potentially happen, which are good and probably bad. Meaning that like, and even Huda was saying like, oh, he has a vision of himself in which he wants to be more Paulie-esque or Beanie-esque. Like, what happens if he becomes a fucking maniac and then like we don't want to associate with Huda because he's so fucking controversial? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's the thing. I think he's really well equipped to know like what his role is.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, I think he wants to be that, but I also think he knows like you bring more value to the space being like a level-headed, I hate to use the word thought leader, but obviously I consider you one. But
Nice.
like a level-headed thought leader that like, yeah, in the dark corners and shadows of your house, that is who you are, you know, as far as like a shit talker,
Sure.
opinionated, but like you're adult enough to know like, no, if I want to make money at this, your shtick is like, no, I bring real good value to people because I have really good insight into Web3. So I think
And-
Paulie can play his game, and I think you can play yours. And if there's a nice fusion there between the two of you, like I think it's awesome. Also,
Yeah.
to like Gway's point about like Zagabond, I used to think like Zagabond rugging, I'll air quote it, was like a really big deal. But you know, I remember having this conversation with Will from the Littles a while ago, and he had said we were at VCon the first year. And I think it was him that brought up to me. He's like, can you imagine if they did a panel on when founders can exit a project? Like so many people in the beginning were figuring shit out. I used to think everything Zagabond did was like shitty. I met the guy and I was like, he's a decent guy, man. Just trying to like, yeah, did they charge a lot for elementals? Like, yeah, they did, but people paid for it. So like, I say, whose fault is that? Like, if you paid 2.5 ETH for an elemental and you weren't happy with the art, not knowing what it was going to be, like that's on you. That's not on him. So yeah, I've come a long way on my thoughts with like Zagabond. But again, if Zagabond was spilling the N-word out there, I think that, you know, crosses the line for me. But yeah, I'm beating a dead horse here.
Yeah, and I do think Huda, you are who you are, right? Like you are, you know, like I'm sure that you have some crazy shit inside you, and every so often is exposed to us on the show every so often. But like I also think that you are a good dude. That you know, that's. I'd rather be with Huda than I would with those other guys. And I think that that's a good thing. You know what I mean? Like, so you're more valuable than that other shit. And it's probably because you're a little bit more authentic. You know what I mean? Like, you're not hiding behind characters. You're not doing any of that shit. You are dark, which is interesting. And you're also a good dude, which is interesting. So I like it. Zagabond. Yeah, I mean, like, the thing is, Henry, we've been in this space so long. Can you imagine just coming in with, like, a little bit of money, swinging for the fence one time, and then just getting fucking rugged, and you're like, fuck, and you're out of it forever? Like, I think that happens a lot more often than we want, because we're able to take some fucking losses. You know what I mean? Like, you're in a long enough where it's like, okay, that they rugged there, but I'm still okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah, good takes all around. Appreciate the kind words, all that stuff. You're not going to get that version of Huda, by the way, till I get fuck you money, and then all bets are off. That's the moment. I'll throw this up on the screen real quick, just in case. I'm sure you guys saw, but big sale, really iconic CryptoPunk move today. Hang on, where's the whatever? This, I believe, was the highest selling CryptoPunk previously, right? This sold for $23.2 million a couple years back. I think that was like 8,000 ETH. Sold overnight here. Rumors are it sold for 1,500 ETH, which that's almost a 20 ETH loss. That number's not been confirmed. A lot of people saying it's a joke, and it could be. There's a lot of copy pasta out there. That said, everyone talking about NFTs are back. Maybe this is a sign NFTs are back, but in the way we actually need, with a little more realistic prices. That would make a little more sense to me. A $4 million CryptoPunk. Yes, even a grail like an alien punk, but maybe a moment of the space resetting here right in front of us. But we'll wait and see. Did you guys see that sale? Any thoughts about it?
I did see it. I saw a tweet, like, I forget what the tweet was, but the tweet was almost like, here we go again sort of vibe. And I wasn't sure what that meant. Like, is this a wash trade situation? Or is it like, holy shit, NFTs are back situation, So I wasn't sure.
Yep. I'm confused about most of it.
Yeah.
But otherwise, yeah, we'll get more details about that. I think it is interesting. We'll get more into our NFTs back, I think, tomorrow, because it is a hot topic. It's what everyone's talking about. Aside from that, I'm sure more political shit this week. A couple big mints coming up. We have the Far and Harto collab. That's dropping in a couple days. So interesting stuff. I think we don't have a totally fucking boring week ahead of us, so fingers crossed for that. Any parting words, fellas? Perfect.
NFTs are
my
good.
favorite words. No, I dig it. Okay, I'll be live over on the Little Noun Show, guys, coming up in 25 minutes. Still going on. Here's the deal. We're technically done. I think we've fulfilled the contractual obligation to the Little Nouns DAO, which they've been fucking phenomenal funding this show for the past 6-ish months. That said, I think we're going to go till 100 at least, right? We'll see how that goes. But yeah, that's still going on, coming up tonight. Again, 25 minutes from now. It's a Spaces on X. Come check it out. Come hang. We're talking the market. We're shooting the shit on the past week here. Yeah. So tune into that. Guys, I'll see you tomorrow morning. The rest of the gang tomorrow afternoon. Thanks for hanging out, guys. We'll see you.
Everybody.
We're the non-fungible idiots, don't you know? Banging our heads to the rhythm of the code. We don't care about dollars or the shiny blade. We're just holding to zero. It's our everything. Round tripping positions, that's how we roll. We won't make $1, won't sell a thing. We're the zero holders, our anthem we sing. Zero holders, our anthem we sing. Zero holders, we're the kings of the sea. The non-fungible is the living the dream. We're all over zero, it's our way to be. In the world of NFTs, we're wild and free.
God, that song's so great, man. Fuck,
It's
it's fun, by the way.
fucking best.
By the way, the one thing I was pissed about with the Pauly thing was that he didn't say fucking killer song, dude. You know what I mean?
He wasn't there for it.
In
He
the
wasn't there
beginning,
for it.
was he?
No, so he joined. We weren't sure. Like, okay, it was all like happening on the spot, and he's like, "Yeah, give me 15, 20 minutes, whatever." And I'm like, "Okay, I'll be honest. I was a little nervous. I'm like, I'm just gonna start and get into it. Hop in when you're ready, right?" So that's how it went. He came in after the song.
Henry, do I talk too much? With the show that I wasn't on, you were fully rocking. What do you think?
Sometimes it's like today's conversation. Like, to me, there's nothing wrong with two people getting into
Especially
a
when you
particular
didn't watch
topic.
it.
I didn't watch it, so like I have my opinion on Pauly and Hudah and I talked earlier, but like I feel like the nice thing about the show is if there's a well-rounded topic that 3 people can get into, awesome. If 2 people are vibing on a particular thing, especially like Joe, you watch it, like I'm not sitting here doing what I'm doing, like fuck these guys. I'm like, no. It's like I didn't have a lot to add to it because I didn't see it. I think it's.
What are your thoughts? Should we reach out to Hudah?
I did. I messaged Garga and Gordon.
Did you really?
I did. Yeah. I
Good.
was messaging him when we were chatting. when you guys were chatting.
Nice.
That doesn't mean that they'll respond to me.
I don't think they can touch it. Right? I think they mostly don't want to put any light on.
I didn't bring up
half of that
Polly at
story.
all. I
Oh.
just
You should have. I think
messaged
you
them
sh- I
each,
think
and
that
I just
that's
said, "Hey, would you come on my podcast?"
All right, that'll work. Yeah, I'd love to have them. I think they don't want to put light on the racist shit. I get it. I don't know if they want to bring light onto the court case either. Again, I don't know if it's looking great for them. I don't know though. I that's why I would like to talk to them. But if while it's still like things are happening, I just think it's like a no comment. Talk to our lawyer. You know what I mean?
Can we? Yeah. Well, maybe we can.
But
get
it's
the
worth
lawyer-
asking.
Maybe we can get the lawyer on or something.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
But like, what would the topics? What can we like, Henry? What can we talk about with them legally? Is there anything?
They're not going to want to comment anything on ongoing litigation, like at all. So I feel like that part's probably not on topic. We can talk about Yuga roadmap, other side.
I'd love to talk other side and shit. I would love.
No, I just feel like if they would come on, we have shit we could talk about.
Definitely.
I know, but that seems as like to me. There's been, like I said, Paulie was the beginning. This seems to be the next chapter. Not that I feel like we're going to get into some long conversation about it, but I do think we should be like, hey, what do you? So we had Paulie on. Maybe we have clips. Do you have thoughts on this at all? Can you speak to this at all? I do think that would be why we should have them on.
There are ways to have a conversation where you're not talking specifically about their case, but you're just talking about, well, what are your thoughts overall on whatever the topic may be, without specifically saying like, can we talk right now about your litigation with Paulie?
Yeah. Interesting. It's interesting. I just, like I said, Hudah, I was very, one of the coolest things about it, Hudah, was that like, I thought it was really interesting to have him on at that time. And so interesting that like, I feel juicy about it. It feels like it should be a fucking podcasty, like, all right, let's go forward. Like, honestly, Hudah, you even might want to try to be at like the fucking, if there's any more court cases, like go to the fucking court. You know what I mean? Like, I think that you should actually try to be the guy that's doing, if this is so important for the space, Hudah, you should probably be trying to get involved.
It's like, I get it. And I like it too. And then there's another side of me that still thinks that there's something so cool about doing it less in a professional kind of way. And it's like literally guy in his house on a chit chat session. And you know what? And there's something I just, again, just talking about realness, it always feels more real with whatever that is. But feeling out open to anything. I mean, to be totally honest. So, all right, I got to boogie and get ready for the next show here. Guys, pleasure. Like fucking always, man.
Always. Talk to you guys later.
All right, see you boys.
Okay, see you guys.
Later.